It's crazy. If I'm correct, Jhonny Gonzalez has won something like 23 of his last 25 fights, and something like 21 of those by knockouts. But he is 57-8 with he's 57-8 with 48 KOs right now. March the 27th, 2015. He weighed in at 125 pounds. He's going to be taking on Gary Russell Jr., who's 25-1 with 14 KOs. He weighed in at 125 and 3/4. So what you can do is on my channel, I have the full actual weigh-in, courtesy of Showtime Championship Boxing. Thank you. And basically, I got Gary Russell Jr. Now, it's just my opinion, but I look at it like this. Jhonny Gonzalez is the type of fighter that you don't want to stand in front of. Jhonny Gonzalez, with those 48 KOs, has become a better overall fighter and boxer, even though he's only 33 years old. Now remember, he has well over 60 fights and almost 50 KOs. So that right there in itself has to be respected. Daniel Ponce de Leon, Jorge Arce, Abner Mares, Toshiaki Nishioka. Yeah, he fought, you know him, great Japanese fighter, retired now. He got retired basically by Nonito Donaire in 2012, if I'm correct, or 2011, I forgot. But Jhonny Gonzalez now is in a situation where I feel that the plan is for Gary Russell Jr. to win. Gary Russell Jr. can win. Gary Russell Jr. has the skills to win as far as play keep away. You know, Jhonny Gonzalez is not the type of guy that you want to stand in front of, and also he's going to keep chasing you around the ring. But I want to explain it this way. Gary Russell Jr., with the fastest hands, if not the fastest hands in the sport, also has somewhat brittle hands. He has brittle hands, and if not brittle hands, we don't know really where his power is, because he hasn't knocked out anyone of note. In fact, if you look at his record, people call him the TBA killer, because he's always fighting these to-be-announced guys. And me, frankly, I'm just glad to see him within a year's time going after another title shot, because normally the formula with Heyman guys is if they take a loss or a bad loss, they go back far. And I'm talking about taking maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 tune-up fights before they actually get back into the mix, into contention. Now you have Jhonny Gonzalez, who in what was that, the summer 2013, knocked out Abner Mares in a fight where basically I knew, and I didn't get a chance to cover that fight, but I knew, oh shit, Abner Mares is going to get beat up. Why? Because Abner Mares is one of those type of fighters where he does this, like, come on, he get cracked, and then, you know, he'll sit there, and instead of adjusting and heightening his defense, he'll sit there and try to take punches with you, and he's moving up in all these different weight divisions, testing everybody's shots. So when you look at what Jhonny Gonzalez did, he was tailor-made to knock out a guy like Abner Mares. You know, if Anselmo Moreno wasn't such a smaller fighter, he had a good chance to knock out Abner Mares. Just my opinion. You know, and that's just not, it's not because Abner Mares is not a good fighter. It's just that his fighting style, he's gotten somewhat better. And that's probably why his fights are somewhat boring now, as you can say, and been somewhat contested as far as his last two, when basically he fought sparring partners going the old Leo Santa Cruz route. But basically, I got a lot of videos to do. So basically, let me say this. Listen, Gary Russell Jr. has the tools in the tool shed, as they say. It's all about what kind of fighter he may or may not try to be. Now, Jhonny Gonzalez, in my opinion, is a very good overall fighter. But if I was to classify him as something, I would classify him as a power puncher, pressure fighter, if that makes sense. To whereas in Gary Russell Jr. is more of a boxer. Gary Russell Jr. has the skills. Gary Russell Jr. has the defense. He may not have the punching power, but he can win on the cards. But if there's ever a situation where Gary Russell Jr. drops his hands, or if Gary Russell Jr. is in on the inside a little bit too long and he gets cracked, then it's like, the fight can probably go the other way. Now, of course, Gary Russell Jr. didn't get stopped against Lomachenko, but one thing you should do is, before you watch the fight, go back, meaning before you watch Jhonny Gonzalez versus Gary Russell Jr., go watch the last 3-4 rounds of Gary Russell Jr. versus Vasyl Lomachenko, where basically Lomachenko was sensing that he could probably stop him and started closing in on him, basically, as far as as far as not so much boxing, but actually going after him and actually pressuring him to the point where he had him in the corner several times. But this is all my personal opinion. Of course, I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy live with RealCombatMedia.com. And we're running a poll for Mayweather versus Pacquiao. The link is right below in the description box, www.realcombatmedia.com. Mayweather by KO, Mayweather by decision, Mayweather by TKO, Pacquiao by decision, Pacquiao by KO. Of course, I'm going with Manny Pacquiao. But what I'm going to do is the week of the fight, we will be reading the results of the poll live, and basically try to get a gauge on what people are really thinking. Because it's kind of, I'll save it for another video. T-Street Controversy Live. Please subscribe.